What is true? What is your truth? I know sometimes when I hear that, I think of women. And I think of them saying, well, that's my truth. I'm living my truth. But it's also applicable for men too. What is your truth? Is there only one truth? Let's say you grow up in a war-torn country, such as some of them over in the Middle East right now. You would believe that the world is a dangerous, warring place. Now, the contrast to that, let's say you grew up in a place where there was no war, a part of the world where a first world country, for example, the U.S., where we haven't had a war for many years, at least within our country. Not since the Civil War, I believe, and the Indian Wars, which we created. That's a whole nother video there. But we grow up in an environment of safety, except for the local criminals. So we don't view the world as someone who grew up in the Middle East where they've been warring since they were born. For that person, the world is a dangerous place. For us, it's a safe, abundant place, and we don't have the same view as that person does. Or let's say you grew up here in the inner city, in the, let's say the poverty-stricken part of the inner city here in the U.S., even though poverty here is rich compared to other countries. You may think that you're oppressed. You may think that everybody's against you. But if you grew up in a rich neighborhood, you don't look at it that way, regardless of your race. Now, whose truth is the truth? I would venture to say that they're both true, because that's that person's perspective of the world. The person who grew up in the impoverished neighborhood, he has formed beliefs that will keep him impoverished unless he allows something else into his mind, unless he opens his mind to the possibility that he could be wrong and the world is not as he experienced it growing up. When he opens his mind for the possibility of that and expands, then he will see opportunities that he never saw before. Now we'll take the one that grew up in a rich neighborhood. If he would happen to travel to different parts of the world and see how impoverished the world is, he would realize that his view of the world has been distorted, the same as the impoverished gentleman's. Each of them have been grown up and that has become their truth, because they only see what they believe. And I'll try to say this and get it right. You don't believe what you see what you believe. So your environment forms who you are as you grow up. They call it the impression period. The first 7 years of your life, you are impressed by the people you're around, by your environment, until you come to the age where you can rationally discern what's true and what's false. All these things have been imprinted within your subconscious mind, which forms your beliefs. And your thinking comes from your beliefs, and your beliefs, or your thinking, you take the actions from that. So even if people were going to treat you well, if you grew up where everyone treated you badly, you would stay away from people who treated you well, or you would believe they were up to something, and you would never trust them and allow them to give you, or you would never give them a chance to do something good for you. You would think that there's an underlying motive. They're just waiting to get over on you. Even though that wasn't true, you would create this belief, or you already have this belief, and you would, how would I say, self-fulfilling prophecy. You would act out on these beliefs and push these people out of your life and keep the people in your life that you can't trust that are going to get over on you, if that makes sense to you. It's the way we do. It's the old thing about if you buy a red car, all of a sudden you see red cars everywhere. Were they there before? Yes, they were. But when you bought one, it opened up your mind to the possibility in your, what they call your reticular activating system. You started to see these, which didn't appear to be there before. So whatever you believe your truth is, and that's one reason you need to contemplate your life. I have certain beliefs that I don't really believe are true, but they've been formed within me by my experiences. Now, you may have had different experiences, so maybe I tell you something and you think, well, that's ridiculous. All I ask you to do is open your mind up to the possibility that it may be an option for you, that it might work for you. Just try it. If it doesn't work, discard it. Take what you need, leave the rest. Because what I tell you works for me, and what I've seen work in other people's lives may not work for you, but you will never know unless you try it. What do they say? Herbert Spencer, contempt before investigation leaves a man in everlasting ignorance. And I've been ignorant about things before. I didn't want to try things. I'll give you an example. They come out with these, they're called weenie rollers. And I was on a job one time, probably 6-7 years ago. And this guy wanted me to paint cabinets, so he told me to use this. I said, well, I'm going to have to use a brush because that's the way it's always been done before. No, these things work really good. I really didn't believe him, but I was helping him out that day, so I did what he wanted me to do. And man, those things are amazing. I've used them ever since. I can get doors done in just an amazing amount of time, quickly, very quickly. I mean, they're just like a brush almost. So, but I didn't have real contempt before investigation, but I did have doubts. But I went ahead and did it because it was his show, so to speak. So we went with his method. And I'm glad I did. So I have to remember that whenever I see something that's out of the norm for me or that I've never done, I need to at least try it and see if it will work. Of course, if it doesn't cause me any danger, and I suggest the same thing to you, if it doesn't cause you any danger, or you're not going to lose anything, well, why not try it? It might just work, and it might be better than what you could ever have imagined. So that's why it's best not to have contempt before investigation. And when someone tells you something that they believe is true, and you don't believe it's true, it's just very possible that it is true in their life. Look at the comment section on all the YouTube videos, Instagram, and all that. The varying opinions of people. Sometimes I read them and I think, man, how can this person see this that way? But I don't know how they've been raised up. I don't know what their environment's been like. I don't know what their parents were like, if they had any. I don't know how their parents treated them. I don't know what kind of TV programs they've watched. What's happened in their neighborhood with their family. Maybe a person grows up and their mom dies of the big C. I guess you can't say that here. Okay. Or their mom and dad were drug addicts, and maybe one's in jail or one's in prison. This person will grow up more than likely with a feeling of abandonment, and throughout their life believing that everyone that they love or that is supposed to love them are going to abandon them. And so what they do is they create this. They are a self-fulfilling prophecy, as I said earlier. They will find people that fit this idea of what truth is for them to abandon them, or they will do things to push that person away because they believe that everybody that loves them is going to abandon them, even though it wasn't their parents' fault or things happen and there's nothing they could do about that. Logically and rationally, it doesn't make sense. But as I said, before you're 7 or 8 years old, you can't rationalize. You don't have the ability to decide what is true and false. So this makes an impression upon you that you believe everyone is going to abandon you, that loves you. I know one that I have personally is, I grew up in an environment where the people that I loved, I mean, they didn't intentionally hurt me, but I felt hurt. And my mother would always tell me, you shouldn't feel this way. Okay, so I grew up believing that the people that are going to hurt me emotionally, I mean, my dad used to whip my butt, but that was normal back then. The emotional people that were going to hurt me emotionally were the ones in my family. So I catch myself, even now, around my family, being defensive. When I walk in from outside, and you may do this too. Have you ever been outside, you get off work, you're in a pretty good mood, there's a neighbor, you say hi to him, you smile, and then you walk in the house and all of a sudden you're straight-faced. It's like, almost like you're defensive, like you're wondering if someone's going to attack you or hurt you. Maybe you don't do that, but I do this. Because all my life, the people who were supposed to love me, and they did, I felt hurt me. Now that was just my perception of how things were. My mom and dad loved me very much, I know they did, and they expressed it the best they could. But for some reason I grew up feeling unloved by the people who were close to me. So now I still project that, but at least I'm aware of it. And you can become aware of these things too, and then you don't have to act on it. And eventually you can, we'll say, outgrow this. But you'll never discover these things in yourself unless you spend some time contemplating your life. Just sit down sometime in a quiet place and contemplate your life, how it's gone, what's happened, the decisions you've made, what the results of those decisions were, why did you make them, how you felt about certain people, how did you feel about your mother, your father, your brothers, your sisters, your employers, the people who made a difference in your life for the good, who encouraged you, the people who tried to drag you down. Why were these people in your life? Why did you allow them in your life? Why did you listen to people? Why did you let that narcissist ex-girlfriend or boyfriend manipulate you even when you knew deep down inside that she was cheating on you or he was cheating on you or they were taking advantage of you or they were disrespecting you? Why did you do that? Why? Now, most people can never get past blaming somebody else. I was listening to a guy the other day, which I kind of wish I hadn't listened to, but I try to keep an open mind. He was, we'll say bad-mouthing, but he was discrediting a lot of the people, the book The Secret, the movie The Secret, some of the people that were on that movie, and some of these self-help gurus, as he called them. But I wanted to listen to keep an open mind to see what he had to say. But see, that's what he believes, and that is his truth. I don't believe everything they teach works for everybody, but I've tried many things that I've learned from self-help and some of these metaphysical gurus, and it works for me. It doesn't all work for me. Some of the stuff I try doesn't work for me. Does that mean it's a lie? Does that mean they're grifters? Does that mean they're trying to just get money off of people? Maybe some of them are. But I believe most people have good intentions. Sure, everyone wants to make money. Money is an important part of our lives. We need it to survive. And if these people make money off of what they're teaching, if they are truly helping other people, I saw one of the richest preachers is Kenneth Copeland, which I didn't know that. He's like got almost $1 billion. Now, whether he's a grifter or not, I don't know. But apparently he's providing value to some people. And some of the stuff he teaches helps some people. Maybe it helps more people than not. Is it wrong for someone, whether he be a preacher, a new age guru, a person that teaches things like in The Secret, if he helps people, is it wrong for him to profit off of that? If he sincerely is trying to help people, maybe he's not sincere. Even if he's not sincere, if he's helping people, if he's enriching people's lives with what he teaches, is it wrong for him to benefit? Is it wrong for him to be extremely prosperous from that? I don't believe it is. I think that's okay. I mean, those people helped me a lot. I've read a lot of books. I've listened to a lot of YouTube speakers, a lot of different things, not just with self-help or metaphysical or spiritual aspects of my life, but with dating and other things. You know, some stuff I've even watched. I had to build chimneys on my house. I got that from YouTube. So that guy didn't get anything from me. I put videos out every day. I don't get any. Occasionally somebody makes a donation. But I do this to enrich your life. Now, what's the motive for that? It enriches my life. My intention is to help you have a better life. And why am I doing it? Because I want to have a better life. And if I can help you earn more money or attract more money into your life, however you want to look at that, then guess what? I attract more into my life. If what I teach you, as I said, doesn't work, just ditch it. Take what you need, leave the rest. I'm here to help you because I'm selfish. It helps me. I call it altruistic selfishness. If you want to be rich, enrich the lives of others. I have a wonderful life today. If you'd have told me 40 years ago, Mark, you can have this kind of life, but this is what you have to go through to get it, I would have said, thanks, but no thanks. I'll find another way. But here I am. It was almost like I didn't have a choice. It is done unto you according to your faith. Well, I don't know how much faith I had to get here. I didn't think I had much years ago. But it was done to me according to how I believed. I always believed I could help people, I could be more than what I was. And today I am. And hopefully tomorrow, and I believe that I will be more tomorrow than what I am today. We are constantly growing and expanding. The universe is expanding. And we must expand with it or we contract. Contraction leads to depression. And I've suffered from depression. When I was young, in November, I remember one November the sun did not shine. One day, the whole month of November, and I was depressed. I wasn't probably 12 or 13 years old. And I self-medicated with drugs and alcohol for many years. I quit that when I was about 30. I wasn't an everyday user or drinker, I used it once in a while, but it still was a problem for me, so I quit. But it may have kept me alive during all that time. But I've been through many trials and tribulations, and they all formed me into the person I am today that allows me to help you. And I would have never learned anything about helping you, was going to do anything for me, had I not gone through that. Because before it was all about me. I mean, we're all selfish. As I've said before, Mother Teresa, if you know who that is, she does what she does, or what she did, because she's passed on, to please God. So she has a selfish motive. Everything has a selfish motive. But am I helping other people to satisfy that selfish motive? Even in your business or your job, you want the money, so you work for the guy, or the boss, or whoever, or the client. So that's a selfish motive. But you can go beyond that and do more than what you get paid for. And I like the old saying, I'm sure you've heard it before, but it bears repeating. You'll never get paid more than you're getting paid now until you do more than you're getting paid for now. Universal principle. You can't get away with it. Can't get away from it, and that's just the way it is. God's laws, universal laws, whatever you want to call it. I prefer to call it, well, I prefer to look at it like universal laws, but God's laws too. Works for me. If I had no faith in God, I wouldn't be here. Because when everything goes to hell, and I say this all the time too, and it will in your life sometime, where do you turn? What do they say? There are no atheists in foxholes. And I'm not some religious guy. I don't believe in the white-headed guy up in the sky throwing lightning bolts down at you every time you make a mistake. But if that works for you, that's fine. I don't really know what God is. I just know that there's something in me, and I believe it's in you, and it gives me the power to achieve whatever I want to achieve. It can even give me the power to achieve something that's not good for me or good for you, but I'll pay the price for that. There are consequences, or there are benefits. And when I do things that I think can help you, the benefits far outweigh the energy I spend trying to help someone else. It's just the way it works. I mean, that works for me. But like I said, try it. If it don't work for you, throw it in the ditch. I'm going to stop for today. Thanks for joining me. Would you hit that like button and subscribe? Thanks for being here, because without you, who would be listening? Take care. Have a great day.